This meeting is meant to galvanize business owners to begin to think differently and to begin to know that their destiny is in their hands. The topic I was given is the law as we know it. Is it still fit for purpose? I will refrain from using case law, but I will give some facts which will help you to understand the state of Nigerian law. Business is about rendering service and making money in the process. Business is not about philanthropy, but they are philanthropic businessmen. Is that not so? Everybody wants to make money. If you make money, you will help people. If you have no money, you are helpless, and you can't help anybody. What is the purpose of law in any society? It is easy for us to forget how life was before government was instituted. Before government came into being, it was every man for himself, God for us, God for all. But society developed from a point where each man surrendered a part of his right to a collection of people who were termed government. And government had an obligation in taking rights from people. One, to institute law and order in society, create enabling environment, allow individual talents to flourish in such circumstances. But you see, as society advanced, discovered one thing: the purpose of government was gradually being lost. In some instances, government became oppressive. Agencies of government became oppressive. What is fit for purpose? Manti said, speak on the law as we know it. Is it still fit for purpose? The best case to illustrate what is fit for purpose is a business case. There was a lady in Agbo in the late 60s. She sold drinks, beer and soft drink. She traveled from Agbo to Benin, arrived at Nigerian Bottling Company Limited in Benin, sat before a sales manager and said, my business is selling beer. I also sell soft drink. Most of my customers come in the evening and I sell through the night. Please, I need something that will keep this product cool so that as I serve my customers and they take pepper soup, they will be satisfied. The manager said, what you need is this brand of refrigerator. Gave the name of the refrigerator. The refrigerator was carried quietly from Benin and delivered in Agbo. The refrigerator was put into use. On the second night, the refrigerator packed up. Customers started shouting. The next day, this lady traveled back to Benin and they dispatched people to come and repair the refrigerator. A refrigerator that is barely 2 days old was repaired. It started working again. 1 month after, the refrigerator exploded and injured several people. This lady went to court. He sued Nigerian Bottling Company, the High Court, Benin. You may call her a poor businesswoman, but I want you to know that this woman pursued the case. Nigerian Bottling Company appealed, the Court of Appeal. This woman followed them. The matter went to Supreme Court. This woman never gave up. If you are a business fellow, you must be ready to fight for your right. You must be ready to say whatever it takes, I'll pursue this matter to the end. That woman arrived at the Supreme Court, hired a lawyer, and the matter was argued. 3 facts were laid out in the Supreme Court. 1, did this woman state precisely the nature of her business? To the manager in Benin, he said yes. Did the manager in Benin appreciate the nature of this woman's business? He said yes. Was the product given to this woman fit for purpose? fit for purpose. Before you can say something is fit for purpose, the fellow who wants that thing will disclose to you the purpose. This woman did all that she should do, but the refrigerator was not fit for purpose, and she collected huge damages against Nigerian Bottling Company. That's the case of Nigerian Bottling Company against Gonadi, a Supreme Court decision. Now, when you stand before upcoming business men and women, what lesson must be drawn from this case in relation to our laws? One of the tragedies in Nigeria, what I call legislative inertia. Don't mind the big language. What it means simply is this: laws that will help may never be passed. Laws that will help may never be passed. Let me give you an example. By the late 60s, computer had reared its head. Is that not so? Computer, banks have moved from ledger, began to use computers as well as they were available then. Matters began to go to court, where statement of account printed out had to be tendered. In other countries, the law has been amended to take care of this new variant of evidence. Paperless transaction became the order of the day. The Nigerian law of evidence came into force in 1945. Do you know that it remained until 2011? Until 2011, just yesterday. And what was the implication of this? It became difficult in Nigeria to tender computer-generated evidence properly without rigmarole. In the case of ESO West Africa against Oyebola, the Supreme Court made a very important observation, and I quote: "Nobody must be ignorant of modern business methods and the mysteries of computer." That statement was made by the Supreme Court in 1969. 7 years later, in the case of Yusuf against African Continental Bank, there was an attempt to tender a computer printout. Supreme Court, again, lamented the absence of the necessary law that will enable a printout to be tendered. It referred to the amendment in England that has taken place. In UBA, against Sani Abacha Foundation for Peace and Unity, there was again an attempt to tender computer printout. The Court of Appeal lamented that unless there is a legislation to that effect, this variant of evidence cannot be properly received. In other words, for everybody in Nigeria, the laws will always come rather very, very late. But how do we survive? The ingenuity of certain persons on the bench who are proactive and have been labeled of activist judicial officers are able to read in between legislation to know that if society is moving, we cannot be left behind. Therefore, evidence that is relevant can be admitted. Why am I making this point? When businessmen gather and ask me to look at the law, perhaps the law they don't even know, and say whether it's fit for purpose, they have only caused me to throw back the problem at them. In convening this meeting, one of the good things that must come out is for business people to come together, to become an interest group or a pressure group, as you have it, and influence legislative decisions. Never in the history of Nigeria have you seen where they said This group of businessmen have come together. They want to promote this candidate for Senate, for House of Rep, or even for House of Assembly. Why? Everybody is pursuing business without giving a thought to the fact that if we have our own person in a legislative organ, certain interests could be promoted. Certain legislations that we need can be pursued through. This is one of the worrisome things why we always shout, which type of country is this? It is the type of country we have created. It is the type of country we have created. Unless we come together. This is a business roundtable of emerging businessmen and businesswomen who do not want to group in the dark, but want to influence not just policy, but to influence legislation on any issue is friendly. The purpose of government is to create what they call enabling environment. Yet, environment as it is today is not enabling. In fact, most times I'm cynical when I see foreign investors coming to Nigeria. They are coming into a country where life is not safe. They are coming into a country where are you certain that you'll be able to take out your money? But I got the answer as to why they come in. They come into Nigeria because this country has potentials. It's the same potentials that you sitting here must take advantage of. The first potential is population. The first potential is population. There's nobody from MTM here, I'm sure. Neither from Globe. Now, most times you hear of a wolf. Is that not so? And you jump at it. Imagine the population in Akwa Ibom, and we woke up in the morning. All of us buy 500 naira airtime. 500 naira. Come, the person in the village who is not sure of the next meal, who should keep that money for food, is also buying a wolf, so as to have airtime of double that amount. Is that not so? By the time all of us bring out 500 naira each money, do you know what it translates to? Do you know that those people are smiling to the bank? The modern business development manager is a very crafty person who will not disclose to you that this a wolf, which you think is for you, is for them. A wolf is not for you. A wolf is for the person you are paying to. Our population is something we must exploit. Secondly, resources. This country has resources. Let me give you an example of a legislation that has been in the wilderness for more than 20 years. From the return to civil rule, we have heard of PIB, Petroleum Industry Bill. Every Senate, every House of Rep, since the return to democracy in the year 2000, has been trying to do something about that bill. 20 years after, Petroleum Industry Bill remains a mirage. A mirage. Why? The old order is profitable to a cabal who not like new things to take place. If me and you say we are minding our business, staying in our little corner, not trying to influence legislation, then we are doomed. This meeting is about a call to order that beyond doing your business, you must take interest in what affects your business. Not only by way of policy, but also by way of law. Why? The change that law will bring about does not come of its own accord. In the Bible we are made to know that as Peter prayed, the doors of the prison opened on its own accord and it came out. Legislative doors don't open on their own accord. They require some pushing. And this is where you need to push, but not violently. Manti used the word revolution advisedly. No, we are careful ever since the other man was taken into custody. What we are advocating is a need for massive enlightenment. To know that as a businessman, I have a stake in the law being made. 2, that I can influence the type of law that will be made. At the level of Akwa Ibom, we stay together. We have never sat together to say, what can the business community do annually in Uyo that will bring people from other parts of the country to Uyo? We have never sat to think of it. We think we are okay. No, we are not okay. There's a way the House of Assembly can be approached on matters of legislation, and a law is put into place. Business people sit together, they sit with lawyers, and they come with a legislation which can be promoted as a private member's bill. The people sitting today can promote a legislation under the umbrella of a private member's bill that will affect business very positively in this state. Can there be an annual show of the best eateries? Yes, it's possible. All of us here of beer festival in Germany, annual beer festival, they go to drink. Do you know that we can create cooking, because we are very good cooks here? We can say cuisines, native cuisines, annually. We get the house, they make a law in that direction, commit government to it, and we brand ourselves together. Possibly every October or November, there is a festival of cuisine in Uyo. Every eatery in Uyo will be a part of it. People from outside Nigeria will begin to file in and be a part of it. And tourism will come with it. When Okpukpe Marathon was inaugurated, people thought it was a joke. The prize money was hiked up. Ethiopian runners, another East Africa, people from US, people from Canada, restless people all over the world who are ready to run under any condition, they arrive in Edo State, and Okpukpe race entered international calendar. There's a provision for it that every year, and if you are a runner, you take your notebook and said, I will be in London Marathon, I will be in New York Marathon, after that I will go for Tokyo Marathon, Okpukpe race is in Nigeria, I will be there in Edo State. Why? Everything is about making. These people are not running for fun, they are coming to make money. Anywhere there is money, people will go for it. And when people come for money in your area, you gain from it. Businesses must begin to think in this direction. There are so many years salons in Uyo. Plenty of here is an in thing. But it has never occurred to business people that let's bring all people who play here under one body. Now, let us have an annual festival and see who will do best. Get people. Marry it with a fashion show, because everybody is a fashion designer. But until you design for visible persons, you are wasting time. The day Ronaldo wears your trouser, whether it's properly sewn or not, come, you have made it. The way Messi wears your singlet, if it is like, let it be carpenter. The fact that Messi is wearing it and he says, this is from XYZ Uyo, your shop will be overblown. The day Trump wears your shirt, however bad it is, the fact that Trump is wearing it will make you. These are the things we must be looking at. We must not think my small business. No. Start small. but have ambition. Get the law to be in your aid, and before you know it, you are smiling to the bank and you are able to help others. But if we leave law as it is in the hands of legislatures, we are doomed. The only way is that from time to time we must see how one or two of us can also become legislators. Where you come from will influence what you do in the House, whether in the State Assembly, the Reps, or Senate. Because once you live here, you are carrying the dream of 1,000 people in your head, and they will constantly remind you, you came from here. This is the purpose of your being there. Most of those people who are there, as the other man told us, he has 5 wives. And how many number of children? His own household alone, if they vote for him, whether you like it, he will win. All of us can begin to go for 5 wives and 30 children. Where will you keep them? And you don't have your own house. You are living in your father's house. The agenda for young business owners is to aspire. And in aspiring, they must push the legislature for favorable legislation. Otherwise, we are wasting time. The history of Nigeria in terms of legislation is a pathetic history. It's pathetic. The criminal code in Nigeria also came into being in 1945. So will the civil procedure rules. But until the Administration of Criminal Justice Act came into being a few years ago, in 1945 legislation left by the colonial masters continued to be the basis of criminal prosecution. When you know the history of these things, you will know that one of the challenges the business community faces is how to have laws that are friendly, how to have laws that will be protective of business. In other words, how to use law to create an enabling environment where business will thrive. Because business, as I said, is our back to society. Permit me to just stop there.